This will be more fun, though. I hope that's okay. Wherever Chloe is, I would like to say that I think you're young and sexy and fun and intelligent. Yeah, there you are.
Later if you want.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people think that anyway. I also didn't agree to go after like tragi-comedy queen, but here we go. Like in the spirit of breaking contracts, brought palm cards. If that's not okay, I found that you can kind of go like that, and you should be able to block them from your view. And if that's not good enough, be a better person. And that's it. Let's get started. There's a point in every relationship where you're really just wondering how many of their friends you can steal before you break up. I threw a dinner party May 2014. I like dinner, I like parties, and I like my girlfriend's friends, but felt we might still be at warm acquaintance level if the relationship was for some reason to come to or be brought to an end. The invitations went out, nonchalantly worded, "Hey friends, come to my Thai banquet," a little asterisk, banquet may be rich. BYO, Tuesday, 7 p.m.-ish, BYO drinks, parentheses, plus $10 for ingredients if you can, exclamation mark in parentheses, RSVP now. I scribbled it out on a notepad and photographed it with a palm leaf as background, so as to just like tie and The yeses understandably came flooding in, enthusiasm, emojis, exclamation mark, and sounds great, but Kate's a celiac, will you have any gluten-free rotis splashed into my trendy yellow iPhone 5? Dutifully, kindly, and with a cool brevity, I responded, letting everyone know how great it was that they were coming, and the rotis were actually from the Indian subcontinent, but I'd make sure to roast the peanuts for the pad thai separately so as to avoid any risks of wheat contamination at the factory. People were happy. So, guest list in place, I sat down with 2 Thai Spirit House cookbooks, a gluten reference page, a vegan substitution guide, 3 colors of those transparent plastic page markers, and 2 Excel spreadsheets, and just kind of felt it out. I can't remember exactly what was on the menu, but you'll have to trust me when I say it was fucking great. As banquet day approached, I thought it wise to counter for the natural event attendance attrition of 30% that I hope you know about, by inviting some more, lady matees. I figured that these people had even less chance of showing up, so I went a little gangbusters on the invites. The gang busting stopped the morning of the big dinner when I had a moment's reflection after just inviting some chick who'd make me a great long black, and I did a quick head count and realized that 8 hours out we were at 24 confirmed and 6 maybes. My Thai banquet, which was initially planned for the prime dinner party number of 8, was going to take some significant plumping to become even Thai light snack for 24 to 30. But I was calm. Why was I calm? Because I had my weapon, and my weapon was Excel. Excel's beautiful. Excel's middle name is Scalable, and its bio is "You can do it." With the jump from 8 to 24 was no problem for Excel, and by extension, no problem for me. How many knobs of galangal do I need? My computer's up. Oh, I need 3 3/4 knobs of galangal, Jackson. if there's one thing I want you to come away from tonight thinking about, it's the phrase "knobs of galangal." So with the power of spreadsheets behind me, maths at my back, and knobs of galangal in comfortable places, I felt like I could do this. The big evening came, spraying white blobs into the sky, and Jackson was in action mode. The stocks and bases had been prepped the night before. There was chicken slow cooking, blanching in a slow cooker. There was tapioca doing weird shit in a bowl somewhere. Salads sitting waiting for like moist things to happen to them, and creme brulee caramel setting somewhere. But most importantly, my prize piece was an arrangement on the kitchen aisle of all of my Thai vegetables and herbs that I seem to have bought like far too many of, but just looked beautiful. They were, displayed cornucopially across the table, like lemongrass, Thai basil, leeks, mints. By this time, the diners were arriving, and the audiences probably came for something to happen. Unfortunately, for the latter, if not the former, it was about time to do the transfer of the chicken wings, which were to be twice cooked. Transfer from the blanch. I wasn't joking, matters from the blanching process into the deep fry. As per instructions, I filled a medium-sized pot half full with canola oil. I put it on a medium heat, and I guess just to kind of show that pot like how unfazed I was about its general like pot of boiling oilness, I poured myself a stemless glass of sub $15 white wine and went around the corner to change the music. The kitchen is around the corner, kind of from the speakers and the dinner table and where everyone was set up. And as I kind of emerged into this room, the friends were sipping and chatting and kind of like shouldering slightly to the music. And I allowed myself a moment to congratulate myself on just being a great host. There was a nice low long table set with kind of big candles lighting it in Thai-ish holders. I set up a bunch of IKEA pot plants kind of as a perimeter, and I dug up some like ambiguously Asian sculptures from like the last owners of the house had just left in the back garden. And I kind of dusted them off and used them as table headers, which I felt like gave it a nice, like it was on theme and also like an egalitarian nature of there's no one at the head of the table. The rest of the room had been stripped of all furniture, and I had like beautiful tea lights flickering with their flames. And I'm just there thinking like, wow, why don't we always light with candles? It's such a beautiful thing. And then I'm thinking the oil is still on the heat, and like, nonchalantly, wine in hand, I waltz on over to it because maybe it's time to put the chicken in the oil and do the thing. And so I walk over to the pot and see how it's going, and I lift the lid off the pot, and it looks like oil. Like, oh, looks like fire. It's fire. It's still on fire. The oil's on fire. The chefs who are cool do this thing where they they have the stir fry pan and they like whip and it goes poof, and then there's like a bit of flame and it's exciting and it means that they're cool. And I guess I was like I knew this wasn't a stir fry, it was a pot of oil, but it was on fire and I was pretty sure that meant I was cool. So I indulged for a while in the image of Jackson as cool chef with fire, kind of wishing for someone to come into the kitchen and actually get that impression. Didn't happen. So I, called it a day and grabbed the lid of the pot, put it back on with the intent to smother the flames. The problem is, once you put a lid on a pot of fire, you have a Schrodinger's fire. But, thinking about it, I remember that the thing that had always frustrated me about the Schrodinger's cat example was how easy it would be just to shake Schrodinger's box and wait for a hiss. That's dumb. But not quite as dumb as my decision then to just shake the pot and wait for a hiss. I got a fucking hiss, and then it was a cat in there, it was alive, and it jumped out of the pot. But it wasn't a cat, it was oil on fire, and it wasn't gonna come and nestle warmly and in my arms. It was a blue flame square foot on my stove, which kind of threatened the nature of the non-charred nature of myself and my friends and my house and my cornucopia of vegetables. Yeah, so this is, I think at this stage we're about 5 minutes into oil being on fire. And I guess that's where I started to put the two words together and kind of attach a weight to it. Oil on fire, oil on fire, oil fire. I don't take Valium, but I may as well, because I do remember spending a good minute just kind of staring at my oil fire and chuckling at the fact that I was having an oil fire, and then kind of trying to think something poignant about the Gulf of Mexico thing that had just happened and environmentalism. It didn't happen. I couldn't muster that thought. So I found the fire blanket above the fridge. I knew where it was, and I threw it as per instruction just onto the stove. So now we have another Schrodinger's fire. I sit and watch this magic blanket. I kind of have faith that it will do its thing. And so I take a step back and just, I guess I'm proud of my fire safety skills. I knew where that fucking blanket was. I knew how to do it. And I was calm. That lasted for a little bit, until the brown patches where the heat was most significant on the burns on the white blanket. It's slowly crept toward me and my wooden kitchen and my vegetables in my house, and I thought this is something needs to be done about this. This is not good. The main thing I think that brought me to that sort of ultimatum was the fact that a really shit song was playing, and I really wanted to skip it, but I had to deal with this fucking oil fire first. And so I leveled up and got the fire extinguisher, which was under the sink. I grabbed that out and kind of pointed it at the fire. But there's a fire blanket on it. When you have a fire extinguisher and a fire blanket in the fire, do you spray the fire extinguisher at the fire? Or the fire blanket, or do you take the blanket off first and then spray it? And what did the spray look like? Was it foam? Would it settle, or would it just should I have the exhaust fan on or no? And if I needed to take this blanket off, how was I to do that? And I didn't know what size this fire was. So at this point I thought I'd just with that in mind give Triple O a call and just see what was up. So I called out into the living room and asked to just borrow someone's phone to call the fire brigade. And I guess fire is just one of those buzzwords. Because all of a sudden everyone's in the kitchen all concerned. Anyway, Isha, my boyfriend, handed me his phone, and I hit in the 3 zeros and made the call. Ring, ring, ring. Fire and rescue, please. Yeah, thanks. Oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, well, look, I have, like, I'm having a dinner party, it's really nice, and I have a stove, and I have a pot with oil on it, and I threw a fire blanket on it, and I have the fire extinguisher here ready to go. I'm just, like, wondering if you had any tips? No, just the tip. You want to send a unit? I think I got this, it's fine. I have, like, 2 methods of fire and parallel thing going on. It's gonna be, okay. Alright, okay. Is there anything I can do? Outside? No, sorry. We're actually having a dinner party. And that's inside, and like the dips and the music, and I set up some nice lights, and that's happening inside. So we can't, can we just stay in here and watch out? Okay. Alright, okay, safe. Fine. Okay, thanks. See you soon. So they're on their way, and I usher everyone out to the front porch, and within 3 minutes there's a fire trucks of sirens blazing, and coming into my kind of alleyway on an alleyway that I live in. And then within another minute there's another fire truck, and then an ambulance, and then an Energex van. To this day, I do not know, how these vehicles got here so quickly and why. But I have a theory, and that I live just down the road from 24-hour coffee and intimidation vendors, death before decaf. And I think they were just sitting there, kind of killing time. And one of them gets the call, and they're like, "Dudes, come on!" And they just kind of, we have American SES units, and they just kind of all hopped in for some Tuesday night kicks. So they're all here, and the neighbors are starting to come onto the street because I guess sirens and stuff. And the guests are still arriving, nicely clad, arms with wine in them, and just kind of hoping Jackson's isn't the place that's on fire, right? And I realized that not only were our drinks lower, but I couldn't hear the music for the fucking sirens. So I take a little walk inside. She told me not to, but strolling slowly down the corridor, fixing my shirt and mirror, then into the nicely darkened living room, which now seemed to say hundreds of candles in an entirely different tone than it did before I got the fire. I found a bottle of wine, and I poured myself a nice long stemless glass of white wine. And I had a little dance, and I turned up the Todd Terrier, and I found my, probably half this room I was on antidepressant drugs at the time. I found my tablets, and I had my wine, and I had my music, and I was doing fine, and I turned around, and there is a big, dirty man. With big dirty gear just standing in my corridor. He is the fireman. He is the fireman. He's a fireman. And he does not say anything, so I speak. Hey, thanks for coming. Welcome to. The fire is around the corner. It's on the stove. There's it's a pot of oil there's oil on fire. It's the pot oil. It's not pot oil. It's just normal oil. It's nothing illicit. And it's the oil. We have an oil fire in our stove. Can you fix it? He kind of nods at me like a grizzly bear agreeing not to eat you, and then walks past. But there's one last thing. Wait! I call out. He turns and is waiting to save my house from burning down. There's a tableau of vegetables on my kitchen island, could you like not get your spray thing on? Suddenly, I am very aware that I am standing in my father's new farm house, white, stemless white wine glass in one hand, my I think too much and won't go for a run depression drugs in the other, Todd fucking Terrier playing on my dad's $10,000 hi-fi system, and I'm just a man who saves lives for a living. If you would mind not dirtying my vegetables as he saves my house from burning down. Fortunately, I'm like super socially astute, so I knew what to do. I had been toying with this little social theory that compliments, the giving of compliments actually raises your social position because of, I guess, the implied authority or social assuredness required to deliver such a message. I think your top is nice, and I can say that because my life is great. So thinking quickly and brilliantly, I figured that you could reverse this to the reverse effect. If I insulted this guy, then I would be able to negate the whole bourgeois stemless wine glass rich kid wanker thing, because he would get what I was trying to accomplish socially, and he would appreciate the humility involved in that act, and he would just forgive me for the whole vegetable thing. So I said, oh, you're real dirty, eh? There was a pause, as we both realized the mean, stupid, classist, redundant, and I guess vaguely sexual nature of the comment that I just overthunk into existence. Fortunately, he speaks, and he says, "Oh yeah, I guess so. Look, I'll mind the vegetables." And then he saved my house from burning down. There is a not new but really very potent reminder in this story that we can get so caught up in our airs and graces, our pretenses and constructs, social strategies and relationship rules, and that the fickle so often overtakes the significant, and then the quantity of fickle becomes so large, it grows and grows, so that you turn back and it is significant. And it's only when something like an oil fire and an interaction with an apish but eloquent fireman pulls a door out from under you and plummets you into this primal survival reality that you can look up and see your emperor just standing there with his dick out. But it's important, right? As much as we might pretend otherwise, we're all really so close, so part of the same little play, the same little world, so inescapably connected to now, to this moment, and by some sort of metaphysical extension to all of the other nows and all of the other moments that have been and are to come. Rome burned, Hitler had a girlfriend, Gandhi wished he had more friends, both were vegetarian. This all kind of rang through my mind as I walked out and greeted my friends from this darkened corridor. They were all friends now, and I invited them in with such warmth back into my home. And as we walked in, alive, young, happy, together, and headed toward my beautiful table to share a wonderful meal, I hoped in my heart of hearts that I didn't end up sitting next to fucking celiac Kate.